Hey free-to-play gang, welcome back to another video. So a lot of you guys have asked me about the Flaming Echo, and I think now is probably the best time for me to talk about this. So we have only one more option right now before we can make the final decision, and I do hope that you guys are still holding on to your decision and you haven't actually jumped the gun to pick one of the Espers that you needed, for example, because it's always better to wait for a full week so that you have one choice from 6 different options for you, rather than just picking immediately right now just because you finally found one Esper that you need. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad choice as well, but I think it's still better to widen your options a little bit so that in this video I can give you guys a better idea of how you can make use of your Flaming Echo and how this is going to work out for you. But before we get into that, I do want to say that I do feel like Flaming Echo is probably the approach that this game is going to have moving forward in terms of the Mystery Trader event that a lot of people are talking about, or at least they have talked about, which is to select one free resonance for any one of your Espers. I feel like this is probably going to be the way moving forward, adding a layer of RNG and not just straight up, okay, this is one free reso for you, or something similar like that. Okay, so anyway, I have a few pointers for you guys. I actually have 5 pointers, but it's mostly going to be 4 pointers. The 5th is, don't take me too seriously on that. Okay, so let's start off with the first pointer, and the first pointer for you to select what you might want is, do you have any specific need for this specific Esper? So for example, if you have a Yuntran here, you have an Embla here, you have an Ollie here, something like that. These are all really good options in beating certain content in the game. So if you do need, let's say Yuntran for Fafnir, or you do need Ollie for Chronos, or maybe you need a speed lead in PvP, for example, there is Tia. If you do not even have her, there is Ollie as well, or there's maybe Yu Hime. So these are proper considerations that you might want to make for yourself in order for you to decide whether is this Esper going to be good for you or not. And of course, if you need help in team building and all that, you can always refer to some of my previous videos. I do try to cover every single Esper in the game in terms of its content coverage, except for Arcana, of course. So this would be probably the most important criteria for me. Do you have a specific need for this particular Esper? Now the next point is going to be for Espers that you probably do not already have, but they are still going to be really good Espers to have. And by that, I'm talking about how versatile are these new Espers for you. So if you take a look at the tier list that I did very recently, I would highly recommend any of the Espers who are at A rank and above. So A, S and S plus rank. Now these Espers are really strong in most of the content in the game, or at least they have a very wide versatility so that you can use them in several different content, and you can cover the most ground as well. So if you do not have any of those Espers, I would highly recommend that you go ahead and check out that video. Are any of your Espers A ranked and above, according to my opinion of course, and my explanations for each of these Espers as well. So that will be the second point, just making sure that you pick really good Espers for your lineup. And now point number 3, I did a video just yesterday talking a little bit more about the major resonance tiers of each of the different Espers in the game. And the reason for that is because sometimes you might want to pick an Esper just because of how powerful that resonance tier is gonna be. So for example, for Brewster, for example, right, if you already have him at R1 or maybe even at R0, it might be a really good idea for you to continue picking Brewster because his R2 is very strong. So for me, in this case, I do have 5 options here and I am super lucky as well. Now for me, Hyde is currently R1, so I can pick him for his R2 effect, which is also a really good resonance tier. Or I can choose to get Ethan, who I currently have R0, so that he becomes R1, and it only takes me about another 50 days for him to become R2. And the same goes for Leora as well, but I don't think Leora is going to be one of those Espers that you desperately need resonances for unless she is going to R4. But that would be the gist of this particular step, which is the third step, major resonance tiers. Now the fourth point for you is, are any of these Espers new to you? I do feel like it's always a good idea to expand your roster. So if you do find a new Esper in this particular lineup, even if it's not a good Esper, right? Like let's say even if it's Ife, for example, I still think it could be a good idea for you to select a brand new Esper because the game might eventually throw out content where they become relevant in the future, or they may have certain balance patches and all that. So it's always good for you to have every single Esper in the game as much as possible. But of course, another reason why it's a good idea to get new Espers is so that you can use the club wish function to get more ripples of each of these Espers that you might need in the future as well. So it's always important that you have a much bigger roster. So new Espers, very important. Now the 5th and final point, so for me, I have Ahmed and Gabriel at R6. It might be a good idea for me to pick Ahmed or Gabriel if I do need the Monoprisms to summon for the current Shimmer banner, which is in this case Unas over here. And yes, don't take me too seriously. But the thing is, if you're one spin away from the legendary Shimmer of your choice, let's say it's Unas right now, and you desperately need Unas, then yeah, it makes a lot of sense for you to pick an R6 Esper that you already have so that you can guarantee the Unas over here. So it is mostly a joke, but yet at the same time, I'm not kidding, right? This is possibly one way for you to get a legendary Shimmer Esper like that. Okay, so that's it for this really quick video. I hope this was informative. I hope this clarified every single questions that you have. Let me know if you have any other doubts down in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Anyway, with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's content. If you did, don't forget to thumbs up. It really helps the channel, and subscribe for more Dislyte content. Now with that said, this has been Dairy Free to Play, and as always, I will see you in the next video.